Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Italian American Renaissance. My name is Christian, and in this second video we'll be talking a little bit about the roots of our heritage as Italian Americans. So this video, it really is directed towards Italian Americans, but for anyone else who wants information on this as well, it could be useful. So, what does it mean to be Italian American, or rather, where does our heritage come from? So in order to understand this, we need to understand the Jure Sanguinis principle. That is, the fact that many of us were born with the right to Italian citizenship without us knowing it in many cases. So in some countries such as the US, where you were born dictates your citizenship. So for example, I was born in the US, therefore I'm an American citizen. But Italy is a different country in which the citizenship is granted from parent to child in a line, the familial line, and this is called Jure Sanguinis, citizenship by right of blood. So what does this mean for those of us of Italian heritage? In my case, and in many of your cases, it likely means that we were born not just as Americans, but as Italians as well. Most Italians came to the United States during the Great Migration, from the year roughly 1880 to the early 1920s. And in that time, most of them came to the country not expecting to stay necessarily. They wanted to have a better life, but what that really meant was to make money, to send back to family in the homeland, and in most cases to return to, most of the time, southern Italy, to buy some land, have a better life than they did before. But as we know, many of them stayed in the United States. Now, it took, in most cases, decades for these Italian immigrants to become American citizens. They came here as Italian citizens to work, and then they had children. But before they had these children, before they were recognized as American citizens, so the unique special case of these children, this first generation, was the fact that they were born both with American citizenship because they were born in America, but also with Italian citizenship because they were born to Italian citizens. So, for example, my great-grandfather, Silvio Quaresima, was born in the year 1915, just about 5 years after his parents had immigrated from Italy. They were not yet citizens, and he was born an Italian citizen and an American citizen. So, the legal principle states that he passed on his Italian citizenship to his children, his grandchildren, and then on to me. So, what are the implications of this on cultural level, legal level, etc.? So, on a legal level, it means that I have the right to, or I can make an application proving my lineage and schedule an appointment with my Italian consulate in the US and have my citizenship recognized once my lineage is proved. I am most of the way through this process, not quite at the end yet, but I'm waiting for the response. I've already sent in the documents, and I've been waiting 1 year for a response. They have 2 years to grant it. And once this is recognized, then I will have the right to live and work in Italy. I will have all the rights of an Italian citizen. I will be recognized on paper as Italian. But what's important to remember is that I am not in the process of becoming an Italian citizen. I am simply in the process of having the citizenship I was granted at birth due to my family line, due to the right of blood. I'm in the process of having this recognized. So, I am an Italian citizen, and that is how I conceptualize myself. I see myself as fully an Italian citizen, fully an American citizen. And so what one might ask afterwards is, what are the cultural kind of implications of this? How does this affect how we see ourselves, our place in the world? What does it mean? And that depends on the person. You might be an Italian citizen right now as an Italian American. You don't have the documents to prove it, but you could theoretically go through that process. But to you, it might not mean what it does to someone else who is in the middle of that process, or who has gone through that process and is now living in Italy and now votes in Italy and now takes fully part in the life of that country. So it's really up to us to choose what our inherited citizenship means. But the important fact is that we have inherited this citizenship. We were born Americans and Italians. So, to conclude, it is crucially important that we recognize we are citizens of both worlds, whether we acknowledge it or not. And after the passing of time, after decades and centuries of having lost this connection, maybe some people, their descendants, will never even know that they were of Italian heritage or that they were citizens themselves. But for those of us who choose to keep that connection alive, and this is what I call the Italian American Renaissance, we need to realize the fact that we have duties and rights to, and granted from, two different governments, that is the Italian government and the American government, and it is up to us to choose how we wish to view ourselves, how we choose to perceive ourselves in this world between two worlds as Italians and Americans. And so this is kind of a starting point from where I would like to take off this channel, from this very important realization that many of us are not simply Italian Americans, but we are Italians and Americans. And it is this fusion of cultures that has contributed to who we are today, what the world is today, and what the world will become in the future. So thank you very much for watching. If you wish to have more information on this recognition process of having your citizenship recognized by Jure Sanguinis, please reach out to me, send me an email. I can help you along with the early steps, or we can get you in touch with professionals who can get you on the right track. And once again, thank you very much. Ci vediamo alla prossima e ciao, ciao, ciao.